Hey, it's been a long time since y'all heard me do the A starting the podcast. Huh? Welcome to the Kind of Sleepy podcast. Who do I have to my left?
It's your boy. I'm back.
DJ Clue. Your favorite DJ's favorite DJ.
Shout outs. It's your boy B Wood, fresh off of a whirlwind tour up to the Triangle.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
No, not really. Actually, no, it was good. It was a good weekend. Had a good weekend. Got to see some people that I haven't seen in a while, some former classmates, some friends. Spend a little time, interacting with the culture on HBCU campus. So that was wonderful. Yeah, man, just out here trying to not to kill these white people.
I'm convinced. That's 2 weeks in a row that you just started to show off, like just coming smooth out the bag, bro.
Hey,
Like,
look,
you just came straight out the bag. Huh?
that's the only way to come. That's the,
Oh
only,
my
the only way to bring it. So, I mean, that's what we're doing today.
Jesus Christ. I don't even know what to say. I'm Knowledge, and I'm here. And I'm in one piece.
Present.
We gonna rush through this episode because I want to go see Avengers Endgame again.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to tag along, but we'll see how that works out.
Me and T Love went to go see it Thursday.
Okay.
She got off work. She was like, "Yo, what you doing?" I was like, "Nothing." I was like, "Cool. You want to see Avengers?" She was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Cool. Let's go see Avengers." Bet.
Word.
And that's how that worked out. No, just kidding. No, but I saw Avengers Endgame. It was dope. It is a full 3. It's the whole 3 hours. If this is a tip, this is not. I'm not gonna give out no spoilers, but here's a tip. If you need to go to the bathroom, go in that first hour and a half. So make sure you try to get there for the first hour and a half. You can get away with going before the second, like 2 hours, the 2 hour mark. Ooh, excuse me. But you don't want to miss that last hour. At the very least, you don't want to miss that last hour.
Man, how about we just be adults and just hold it?
I don't know, dog, because I showed up at the theater and I had a bottle of Crown.
Oh yeah, never mind. Yeah,
but no, I mean it's a good look, like to have a Crown while you're there, because like Crown really will help out, getting through the movie.
Yeah, right.
And like if you choose to partake in smoking ganja, don't watch this movie high.
Oh.
The reason I'm gonna tell you not to watch this movie high is because it's certain stuff that you will miss.
Okay.
They really touched on every single character and like all different aspects of all of their storylines and stuff like that. And so you will see like how it all comes together in the end, and the way it comes together is really dope.
Okay.
For those of you that are listening that still have not seen it, I will tell you 2 things. There are 2 scenes in the last hour. Really, I want to say probably the last 30 minutes. I know one for sure, the last 30 minutes of the movie. But I'm going to say the last 30 minutes of the movie that you're like, well, one, you're going to be like, oh, this is Beyonce inspired. Like, this is one scene, immediately I was like, I feel like I'm in formation. And I feel great about it.
Well, we've already professed our love and new acceptance into the Beehive. So.
Oh, absolutely. And then there's another scene. So there's a scene where literally all the oxygen leaves the room. I'm in a predominantly Caucasian theater. I'm sitting like literally in the front row, and I'm sitting there sipping my Crown. And there's a scene, like close to the end of the movie, where what was a cheering, somewhat raucous, festive atmosphere, it's like you felt the energy shift.
Wow.
Like you felt the energy shift in that theater. And I'm thinking this maybe it was just because it was that theater in the neighborhood, in the area I was in.
Right.
It was more likely for that to happen.
Okay.
But once you see it, I think you'll understand exactly what that scene is. And yeah, it's yeah.
Okay.
But it's dope though. Like I smiled, and it was funny because I was sitting like it was a white couple next to me, and the white guy just kind of leaned back. He didn't say anything, but he just folded his arms. And then the white couple on the other side, apparently the lady, she started like fidgeting around. Like as soon as it happened, I was like, wow. So is that real for you?
Okay.
So it's just
Okay.
it's one of those things, man. If certain people get uncomfortable with certain things, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Also, at this point in time, I would like to profess my undying love for Tessa Thompson.
Fair enough.
I know she dating Lena Waithe. And I said to somebody, you know, what Lena Waithe got that I ain't got? I said, you know, she talented, she rich, she creative, she connected. I said, I'm talented. That was bad. I said, yeah, no, she chose the right one. She chose the right one. So
look, man, you want to come up. Don't
look, man,
don't sell yourself short,
bro. Like, okay, so let's touch on this right quick. Being single in 2019 absolutely sucks.
Oh, we're going there.
Yeah, we're gonna touch on this just for a second.
Oh Lord,
I'm not gonna dive in.
Where's the whiskey?
But it absolutely sucks. Being single is just trash in 2019. Let me tell you about a story.
About a man named Jed.
So
I'm sorry.
You know what?
Please don't revoke my black card for that one.
I'm not gonna get into that story because it's just one of those things where it's like it's gonna take way too long. Let me put a pin in it real quick. Let me see what these folks want. Well, all right, that was interesting.
Yeah. And we're back.
And we're back. So don't you love how I code switch? Code switching is the dopest.
It is. It really
I
is.
love code switches.
So
let's talk about code switch. Let's not go into me being single.
okay. All right.
We go talk about code switching for a second.
So let me. So I had the opportunity this weekend to go to my 15-year.
Side note: being single is trash still. Just
It is still. Okay. We gonna touch on that later.
Okay.
We're gonna touch on that later.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to go to my 15-year class reunion from graduate school. You know, it's always interesting to kind of get together with people that you really didn't interact with a whole lot, but you kind of are in this place and you have that shared experience, and so now you kind of hit it off. But I had a very interesting conversation, and it hit on code switching. You know, we talked. I was talking to two of my classmates that were from India. Didn't really have a lot of interaction with them while I was in school, but you know, we were talking about what the school does in terms of making it, I guess, sort of forcing people, not really forcing, but encouraging students to interact, of different backgrounds, different nationalities, and the school is very diverse in terms of geographic location. So we have students from everywhere.
Right.
But we're talking, and we were talking about like how all the black students get with the black students.
Yeah. Why do all the black kids sit together in the lunchroom?
Right. All the Indian students sit with the Indians, and so on and so forth. And we talked about the conversation kind of took a turn to talking about the shared experience that we black students have, because we didn't really fuck with the white students, or there were some of us that did. Let's
Right.
there's some of us that just
You have
kind of
to work together to a certain extent.
Yeah, there's some of us that, well, I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about socially, like outside.
Some folks naturally gravitate towards Caucasian folks because that's who they grew up around.
Yeah.
And so they're more comfortable with stuff like that.
True.
So I get it.
And in our class, there were definitely a crew that kind of did that, but then there was like the core group of kind of the hood. It was like the brothers,
Yeah.
like my guys, we kind of like just kind of gravitated to each other, and it was just easier for us to be around each other. And part of it was because we could talk around each other in a way that we couldn't in
Right.
class.
It's certain things that I can say things to you that I can't say to or around others.
Right.
And if they said it to me, I haven't matured to the point where I think everything can be solved with a conversation. I just leave it at
Right. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it there. But it was interesting because I'm having this conversation with a guy from India, and I never thought I'd be having a conversation. Like I would always kind of figure, it would be, someone Caucasic that I'd have to have that conversation around. But no, he actually understood, and he was like, yeah, like I completely get it. Like we have things that, ways in which we talk and ways in which we speak that we wouldn't bring to school.
There's and I noticed that I noticed that they're very adept at code switching, not only with people in the professional setting, specifically white folks or whatever, but also with us.
Right.
I found it very interesting how I was treated at times versus how some of my Caucasian counterparts were treated.
Right.
And I just found that very, very interesting. I'm not gonna say I ever had I'm not gonna say I had an overall poor experience working with a team that was primarily from India. In fact, some of the two cats at the top were some of the best leaders I've ever had, military included.
Right.
I mean, they were on it, like they were on point. Shout out to Sid and Vichy, like they were on point. Some of the guys I got to work with, like Harry, my homeboy Ratchet, like that's his actual name. Like that's his name that his mother named him from the womb.
First of all, that man needs name of the year,
Bruh.
That is name. First of all, who his mama? Because she had the foresight to see this gonna come around.
I don't know what that means in India, but
she knew it was gonna come around, and like, yeah.
But I loved Ratchet. Ratchet was a great dude.
I love Ratchet.
Y'all say no to a Ratchet. Anyway, but no. So, but then there was this one person who I don't know whether it was a perfect personality conflict because I didn't have nothing against him. I don't know whether he just didn't like me for one reason or another. I don't know if he thought that I was, and this is what it could have been. I thought that maybe he thought I was trying to take his shine because he was the quote unquote resident rock star, and I immediately came in and basically took over his whole project.
Right.
And was responsible for like the most difficult parts of it and was killing it. And so he went out of his way to kind of trip me up and hamstring me a little bit. And so, so a couple times he got real spicy with me. And so like I'm like, okay. First time he did, I was like, okay, maybe he's having a bad day.
Right.
I'm going to let that one slide.
Right.
The second time he did it, I said, okay, we in a professional setting. Maybe he done got a little too comfortable.
Right.
But I'm going to let it slide because he might be going through something at the house. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt now. But I also know that at this point, if I've given him 2 opportunities,
right,
which I've documented.
Right.
The third time, I'm going to let you have it.
Right.
So he came at me sideways a third time. And I said, if I ever start off with, hey, let me ask you a question. Understand, I'm about to dig in your ass.
Right.
Pause.
Sir.
Understand, I'm about to go all the way in. Pause. If I say, hold on, you got me fucked up. Like if I ever say that and I'm laughing, oh shit, ain't funny, but it's about to get funny. It's about to get real funny in just a second. And so I had to let him know very, very quickly that he had me fucked up.
Right.
And so the second time, it was one time we had this meeting, and it was this one particular aspect of our project that I told him, and I had it documented multiple times. Hey, I have a concern with this. Hey, I have a concern with it. He said, he just blew it off. And when we get in that meeting, sure enough, what's the first thing they have an issue with?
That one
issue that I brought up. And I looked at him and was like, yo, stupid ass. That's what I'm thinking in my head.
Right.
And so he comes back to me after the meeting and says, do you remember when I told you? Do you remember when I told you? Like, I went in. Like, the other guy that was on our team, he had to close the conference room door because I ran up one side of this dude and down the other.
Right.
I said, you got the when I started using T.I. words, you got the audacity. You got the unmitigated gall to sit here in all this bombastic arrogance. And I'm going in. I'm professionally going in on him. I literally sound like T.I. with a word of the day calendar at this point. Because when I get mad, I sound very Southern.
Right.
When I get mad, like my Southern accent fully comes out when I get mad.
Right.
But then I'm literally T.I. with a calendar. I mean, not a calendar, a dictionary.
Right.
Like I'm going in, and he said, I don't like when you get angry. I said, well, I don't like when you misrepresent the facts and lie on me. And he sat there for a second. He said, I need to go talk to Steve. Steve was our project sponsor. Mm-hmm. I said, do what you need to do, bro, but it's Friday and I'm going home.
Right.
And I left. Like, it was like 2 o'clock. I ain't give a damn. I was
right.
like, no, I'm not doing this with you. And so when I came back, like, he tried to play nice for a while, but I was like, it was at that moment I knew I needed the job. And that's when I got that next job that offered me a 28% pay increase.
There you go.
So it was lit, though. But yeah, but back to code switching. Yeah, it's like they understand the various layers of cultural competency a lot of times better than we do.
Right.
Because growing up in a different country, coming here and having to learn the ins and outs of multiple layers of culture kind of gives you that cultural navigation acumen.
Right. And to that point, like the one thing that I never realized was just how much of a shock it was for my classmates, because I never realized that they basically got off a plane in North Carolina and were thrown into the mix of here's school. Like,
right.
They didn't get the to navigate, this is how you get an apartment. This is how you get a credit card. This is how you kind of set up a life here. They didn't get that. They were just basically kind of like got off the plane 2 days later, sitting in class. They had to kind of figure it out as they went. And, part of that, you could put on the school. But I do take some ownership of that, because it's not like we actually tried to reach out and.
Well, I started back to school in August, and I'm going to try my best to kind of step outside of my. And here's my thing: I'm not going to say step outside of my comfort zone,
right?
Because I'm never uncomfortable anywhere I go, because I just always felt like I was an alien anyway,
right?
But I'm going to try to at the very least, kind of based on what you're saying here, make some connections with people from other backgrounds. Not so much because I feel the need to cater to them and shatter any sorts of stereotypes or engage in any form of respectability, but because, maybe I could make a friend from a different culture.
Right.
And share with them some things that they can learn about my culture, that when they are around folks and hear some racist stuff going on, they can be a defender.
Right.
So,
Right. Teachable moments.
The more you know.
Ding, 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 ding.
Speaking of respectability, Jesus Christ. Speaking of respectability, a Houston school has decided to give parents a dress code. The first time when I first heard about this story, I thought, the whites are at it again. And then I realized the principal was black. And I was like, I'm not surprised. So, and this is not okay, I'm going to say something. This is not a shot at any of these organizations.
Do we need a disclaimer?
We don't need a disclaimer. Okay. I'm just about to say.
Okay.
So this principal, I look at this principal. She is an AK. She's a member of the Links. She's been in educational administration for quite a while. Given the amount of money that administrators make in Houston, which I looked up, she firmly qualifies for upper middle class in Houston and upper class in a lot of other neighborhoods across the country. I have a problem with respectability politics when it's been proven to not make sense. All right, let me back up. Let me back up just 1 second. So the reason they put the dress code in place, this woman came to school to enroll her child. She had on a T-shirt dress, and she had her hair wrapped in a scarf. It was like 7:15 in the morning. She was just trying to get that baby enrolled so she can go on about her day. They told her that she could not come in the building because she was in violation of the parental dress code. She said, well, where is the parental dress code? Like, I'm trying to enroll my baby. Like, can you show me the parental dress code that I've allegedly violated? They said, no, you need to leave the premises, and then they called the police on her. You call the police on a parent enrolling their child in school. That's crazy as hell, first of all. So there's another story that I saw on Twitter regarding this same district where, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this, the same school. This parent was notified that her child had been injured. And so she came up to the school, and they would not let her see her child because she was not dressed appropriately. Now, when we talk about being dressed appropriately, I get it. I don't want you coming up to the school with your body parts showing. Like, and when I say your body parts, I mean your sexual organs, or what's considered sexual organs or something like that.
Right.
I don't want you coming to the school, like, I don't personally want you coming to the school exposing my child to a T-shirt that says, I don't know, I like big whatevers and I can't not lie.
Okay.
Or something like that. I completely get that. But here are the things that, these are the things that parents are no longer allowed to come up to James Madison School and wear. A satin cap or bonnet on their head, hair rollers, pajamas of any kind. Hold on. My thing just reloaded. Leggings that are showing your bottom and when your body is not covered from the front or the back. That doesn't make sense. Sagging pants, men wearing undershirts, and Daisy Dukes. I get the Daisy Dukes. I completely get the Daisy Dukes. Men wearing undershirts, I guess they're talking like what, white tees or wife beaters?
Yeah, I would think that.
Either
White beater or white tee or,
I hate the term wife beater. Let's call them tank tops.
Tank tops.
Tank tops. Men wearing tank tops, okay?
We could call them guinea tees, but...
Whoa.
It was a joke, people.
Whoa.
I apologize to all the Italian and
Whoa,
I
buddy.
apologize. Y'all know what I'm saying,
bro.
You I'm wilding today.
You done ran all the way the hell out.
It was a long weekend. Whiskey was involved.
So, leggings that are showing your bottom and where your body is not covered from the front or the back. I don't understand that. Like, if they're see-through leggings, okay, I get it. Like, you don't want people seeing booty cheeks. But these parents are not walking through the hallways with booty cheeks out.
You don't know that, though.
I mean, I used to be a teacher. I never saw parents walking through the hallways with booty cheeks.
You don't know that, though.
Okay, I get it. But at the same time, it's like, people were saying that this is anti-black. I don't think it's anti-black.
No.
Per se, because I think, now, I do think there's some anti-blackness involved in this incident. The reason I don't think it's anti-black is because some of the things that I see our Caucasian parent counterparts show up to various places in are some of these same things. Minus the satin cap or bonnet, I see some of the same things from them. The hair rollers, not so much. Now, do I think that the hair rollers and the satin cap or bonnet may have a bit of anti-blackness in it? Yes, because given Houston's humidity, if I'm coming to bring my child to school at 7:15, I got to be at work at 8:30, and I'm a woman, I would probably like to keep my satin cap on so that the humidity doesn't kill my hair before I get to work. Just being perfectly honest, I'm not going to ever back down off that one. The anti-black portion of it, I think that had that been a white woman who showed up in some Lululemon leggings and a tank top, talking about she was on her way to yoga, the police wouldn't have been called.
You are probably right there.
That's the anti-blackness that I saw.
I will grant you that. So this story has a lot of layers.
I'm still tripping about the fact you said guinea teas, bro.
Hey.
Like, I was like, yo,
I mean, what?
you wildin'.
I'm out here. I'm out
You
here.
out here.
I'm out here with my chest out.
Oh,
Who else want to fuck with Hollywood Cope?
my
That is
God.
my favorite Outkast line, by the way.
It really is.
It really is. I love that line.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so I have conflicting issues on this this issue. So part of me says, good, set a standard. Be an example for your kids. It's a shame that it's a shame that the principal has to take such action on her own to or implement such measures in the first place, right? You would think that a parent, coming to school is a reflection on your kid, and you would want to represent your child in the manner that you would want to be represented. I know personally, I wouldn't like it if my mother came to school with her house coat on and titties just sagging and everything else.
Saggy titty black women have been coming to schools for generations and have raised kings.
But I wouldn't
and
like
queens.
it. I wouldn't like it.
It don't matter if you like it. Get your education.
I wouldn't like it. But at the same time, I do kind of. It's tough because it kind of we've been having this conversation for a long time now, and I think it first came to light to me with Bill Cosby when he said, "Pull your pants up." When we had
stupid ass. I'm sorry. I mean,
well, let's separate the man from the argument.
That speech is what got him locked up, though.
True, but but for the purposes of this discussion, let's separate the man from the argument.
I get it.
He's still trash, but
he's absolute trash.
But my point is that we often have this need to, I guess, justify our actions and our dress and things of that nature. And to a point, you shouldn't have to do that. But at the same time, I feel that there needs to be some kind of accountability, right? So if I'm a parent and I know that I have to go to school and I've got to meet with my child's teacher or whatever the case may be.
Okay, so here's my issue. I don't think that people are coming to the school for parent-teacher conferences like this. I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking dropping your child's lunch money off, bringing your child just to get them enrolled right quick and then heading on out for the rest of your day, stuff like that. I think that's what this is targeting.
I understand, but see, I guess that's just the difference between me and everybody else is that I wouldn't come out of the house looking that way. And that's just me.
And that's fair.
And when we talk about the principal and her part in this, I don't necessarily I get she's an AKA, she's in the lane.
It's just the respectability aspect of it that often middle class, upper middle class, and upper class blacks often take these tropes and view lower class blacks through the eyes of white supremacy.
Right.
And we associate a lot of these activities and a lot of this dress with undesirable traits because we believe sometimes when you get to a certain socioeconomic status that you're better than. It's a very subtle I'm better than you because I don't do this.
Right. So let's change the situation a little bit.
Okay.
So let's say, you are at work, you have to take a medicine that, does whatever, helps you live, right? You forget it one day. Your significant other, fictitious person at this point, has to come and bring you your medication. It's early in the morning. She decides, I'm gonna just run up there real quick. Hair rollers, bonnet, flip, house shoes, pajamas, and flagging you down the parking lot.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you about this. Okay. I'm gonna be very clear. We'll talk about my ex. While I don't think that she would do that, if she knew that it was an emergency and I needed within a certain amount of time, and she was working from home, I sincerely do not doubt that she would show up in a big T-shirt, like a T-shirt dress like the lady had on, whatever her leggings or tights were that she was comfortable in, some flip-flops and socks, because she's like, Bay need his medicine.
Okay.
And the thing is, if she meets me in the parking lot, or even if she comes in the lobby, I'm not mad because I understand this may not be ideally what she wanted to do, but the end state outweighs that, I guess, temporary, whatever it may be that outfit could cause.
Okay, but so let's take the emergence, the exigence out of the argument. So it's not an emergent situation. It's hey, you need this medication.
Or let's say I left my wallet at home and she want to bring me some money to get some to eat.
Right. Perfect example. So she comes. So let's say you're in your office, slaving away, and she comes up, front desk.
And they tell me to come downstairs.
I'm here to see Knowledge.
Right.
Can you page him? And just real loud and obnoxious about it.
Well, Well,
Would
okay,
you?
So why do you say she's being loud, obnoxious?
I'm not saying that she is. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just supposing that. I'm not trying to make a case that.
I'm just saying
that there anyone was being louder or obnoxious.
That's an unconscious bias.
I was just saying. For the case of the argument that she
may be a little bit
loud,
loud
and obnoxious, and drawing attention,
and she may have on some leggings, a big T-shirt, some sandals, and socks.
She might,
some ankle socks,
right.
and she might be ashy.
Maybe.
You know what I'm gonna do?
Look,
now you know me very well at this point.
I know, yeah.
I'm gonna go to that front desk. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna get what she got for me, and the next thing I'm gonna say is, "The fuck you got up?" You thought that was a good idea? And we gonna laugh. We are going to sit there at that front desk and laugh.
Okay.
And when somebody asks me about it afterwards, I'm gonna laugh and say, "Oh, she was just bringing me some money. Mind your damn business."
Right.
That's
okay.
me though. That's me. I'm comfortable and secure enough with the people that are around me that I'm like, mind your damn business. She was doing this for me. What she got on don't matter to you. Can you get my TPS reports, please? I need you to work on Sunday. Okay, that's how I'm gonna operate with it.
Right. Okay. I respect that. I mean,
now my mama never came into the school looking any kind of way.
Right.
But some of my friends who mamas may not have had an opportunity, and the thing is, that's another thing we got to talk about. Like, it's crazy, man. One of the things that annoys me so much, and I want to go on to the next topic too, but one of the things that annoys me so much is that I talked about this in undergrad. It's like people would get shamed for going to the Dress for Success thing and not having, like the polo shirt, or not having, the Kenneth Cole square toes or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of people aren't exposed to what professional dress looks like sometimes.
I'm so happy you brought this up, but go ahead.
And so the thing is, like, I know a dude, I kid you not, and it broke my heart when I found this out. I know a dude who I think he just turned like 32. Mm-hmm. He got his first suit like 2 years ago. He's actually one of the smartest people I know.
Right. One
of the most talented individuals I know, makes good money with his business. Mm-hmm. He's always wearing his work uniform because his business, he made a uniform to provide a certain image for his business.
Right.
But he called me and was like, "Hey man, I need a suit." I'm like, "Okay." I said, "Where you want to go?" He had never actually gone suit shopping.
Okay.
He hadn't had a suit as an adult ever. And so he was like, "Man," he said, "I know you know a little bit about suits and stuff like that. I done seen you in bow ties and stuff, help me pick out a suit." So I gave him my rules for wearing a suit. I said, first of all, never have a suit with more buttons than you have fingers.
Yeah. Look. We all had the days of Steve Harvey suit.
Well, I never wore a Steve Harvey suit, sir, but I was a fan of the bandit collar, the preacher collar. I was a fan of those.
Oh, you from the South for real?
Yeah, I was a fan of the preacher collar.
You were from the South for real.
But no, he. I'm trying to tell you from the dirty, but no, he had never gotten a suit. He had never worn a suit before, and like I just kind of explained it to him. And it's still some things that I had to learn about dressing, because I was in a place where I was like, just buy the suit and put it on, I'm good, But it was just like one of those things where like he wanted to look presentable because he had a major opportunity, and so he was like he wanted to dress like the owner as opposed to his own employee.
Right,
in this particular situation.
Okay.
So we took him to get a suit, and I told him, you're a short dude. No double-breasted suits. You like a mobster.
No.
With double-breasted suits if you're short.
No.
Stuff like that. But the thing is, think about it, man. This dude is 32 years old. He has a daughter. He's 32 now. Mm-hmm. When he was 30, he had a daughter that was like 13. He had his first child when he was young, so that's why he started his business, so he could take care of his daughter. Now, I'm pretty sure in his younger years, he possibly could have showed up to his daughter's school to drop off some homework or a poster board or a project or something like that. And he might have had a do-rag on, with his braids braided back and all that.
Right.
And so it's almost like, now I look at some of these more rural schools, because I've seen both, and some of the white parents come up there. But we're talking specifically James Madison High School, and we know exactly who this targets. And so I'm like, and the thing is, I teach my babies, hey, when you step out the house, you represent, your family, your name, everything. Make sure you step out and you're on point. But I also teach them, handle your business. Like, If so my baby's hair is natural, and the humidity is not really nice to my baby's hair.
Understandable.
And so if my baby has a Easter program, or let's say when she gets older, let's say she going to the prom that night, and she got to run out and get something for that. I'm not gonna be mad at my baby for showing up in Target for 15 minutes with a bonnet on. Now, am I gonna crack jokes? Absolutely. I'm gonna roast the shit out of my baby. I'm gonna be like, Princess, that's what you're gonna do. You just gonna have Jiffy Pop on your head. Like, that's what we do.
We thought that was a good idea.
Like, you just gonna come out here. You just go, yes, queen, yes. That's what you coming out here like. That's how you roll it. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make them jokes, but I understand why my baby was doing it, because she wants to protect her hair and make sure she looks good for the event that she has later on that night.
Okay, so I'm glad that you brought this up, and I know we want to move on to the next topic, but I just want to talk to this point. So I was having a conversation with my boy TK. Shout out to you. We were talking about this very issue. He put together a kind of a day at the office, not adventure, but a day at the office for some students in West Charlotte.
Nice.
He told the faculty that they need to come dressed appropriately. Made the point, but he knew that
somebody wasn't going. It's always one motherfucker like the ice skate uphill.
It wasn't just one.
Wow.
It was several. He said the majority.
That's crazy.
And you said we can't fault for not having the square toes and the 3-piece suit or whatever.
Right.
But when the kids are coming, look like they're dressed for a Travis Scott concert to come into somebody's professional place of work, and he works for a large institution where there aren't a lot of us that are represented.
You talking about the kids were dressed like this?
Yes,
okay.
The kids.
Okay, yeah.
But you can't tell me that there's not resources there, because the shoe game of these kids would rival some NBA players.
Okay.
So and again, not telling anybody what to spend their money on or where to place their value, but I would think that if I knew that my child were going into someone's office, I would tell them, look, maybe not the sagging pants today.
But they may not have that same exposure to that environment as you do. Let me tell you a story that broke my heart.
Okay.
I was talking to a young lady who's an educator in the area, and she was working at an elementary school in West Charlotte, and she said that they took the kids to a field trip uptown, and as soon as they got on Morehead and got into 77, the kids were like, wow. They were like, they thought they were in New York. They had never been there before. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, it's easy for us to say, I would tell my kids to do this, or I would spend my money on XYZ, when the reality is their everyday existence. I don't knock those parents for buying those kids those shoes, because sometimes that's the only thing they know how to do to make sure them kids have some form of self-actualization in their everyday existence and their spectrum of sociality.
I get that.
It's an exposure piece there.
And I get that, but at the same time that we're buying those shoes, can we also get a pair of wingtips?
And here's the thing, they may not know to do that.
And again, I understand.
That's part of the cyclical nature of poverty.
Right. And so this is where I get into a lot of arguments with some of our kind of woke folks out there. They always make the argument that we have to meet people where they are, and I get that. I get, you have to, kind of bring it to where the level is, but it's hard, man. It's hard, because you want to expose these kids and you want to give them the opportunities, but at the same time, you got to realize that the people that are in those spaces are doing nothing but making judgments.
Right.
And it's hard, because it's a reflection on it's bad for them, because you got Joey and Tommy over here that are, pointing and looking and laughing behind and cutting, little jokes behind the kids' backs. But then it's also like, as the professional, as the one who's organizing the venture, it's a bad reflection on you. And so why would I be incentivized to continue to try to do that, knowing that it puts me at jeopardy?
Because
able to provide for
that
my
kid that had never been exposed to that before, it may change his life.
True,
It
but
could change his life. And he says, I don't want to wear the skinny jeans that's sagging no more. I want to dress in some slacks and a button down now. If he's never been exposed to it, how does he know it's something that he may want? And this is the argument that I have, and it's the reason I mentioned that she was an AKA and in the links. I've had this argument literally now the entire time, the almost 15 years I've been in the frat.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said, I don't understand why we spend our time mentoring children who don't necessarily need mentors. I don't understand why we go to middle class to upper middle class neighborhoods to deal with kids. And granted, some of them may need some guidance. I get it. But if part of our mission is to uplift downtrodden humanity, why are we scared to go to the hood? Because the thing is, if we could expose them to something like that, teach them how to tie a necktie, teach them how to dress a little bit, maybe do a clothing drive in some of these middle class to upper middle class neighborhoods where the kids, grow out of their dress clothes and say, hey, let's go and put you in a suit, young man. Let's get you to understand that, it's a world outside of just these couple of blocks that you used to, that you've never been off the west side of this city or the north side of that city. And it's a number of organizations out there that could do that for our people. You got the Links, you got the Urban League, you got the Boule, you got 100 Black Men, we got Alpha, we got AKA, we got the Qs. And some chapters do that, but by and large, we don't.
That's true. And
the thing is, I'm not saying this as an uninterested observer. I'm saying that I'm partially to blame too.
Right. So I think it's it's multifaceted. So, yes, there needs to be more of that, but we can't do that without forsaking those that maybe are a little bit more privileged or that are more privileged, that still will need that boost up. So I guess I say all that to say is that there's a broad swath. There's plenty to do out there,
right?
And everybody can play a role, and everybody can play a part, and it can't be one thing. It can't be a binary choice. It can't be one thing or the other. I think, there's enough need out there where you can kind of find a place where it fits, whether it's...
I think at this point we have enough Black men and women who can make that impact, both in these lower middle class to middle class homes, as well as these impoverished areas and lower class, working class, so to speak, areas as well. I think we have enough people. I think that the motivation just has to be there.
Yeah.
And truth be told, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of our educated brothers and sisters got this, I got mine, you need to get yours type feel.
Facts.
And that kills us more than anything. Let's move on, because while we're in the education realm, I want to touch on something that happened in Illinois, in Pekin, Illinois. Kevin Pummel. Get your stupid ass,
punk ass, bitch ass, racist ass.
He was a teacher,
motherfucker.
He was a social studies teacher.
Operative word there is was.
He was a social studies teacher. And he went by the screen name Undercover Academic, and he was a member of all these white nationalists, white supremacist websites. And he bragged about indoctrinating his wife with white supremacist beliefs. He bragged about indoctrinating 4 of his students with white supremacist beliefs. He complained about quote-unquote miscegenation. For those of you who did not have T.I.'s Word of the Day calendar, that means interracial dating. And interracial dating and having babies, rather. So ideally interracial marriages and children. Let me tell you specifically what he said. He said, miscegenation is frustrating, and sometimes I think it's a 21st century plague to get rid of whites who aren't somewhat racially conscious, but mulattoes are so weaponized.
What in the fresh hell?
I don't even know what that means, but I was offended, and I'm not even.
Yeah.
Well. I am 21% Irish according to my DNA.
If you don't get the fuck out of here,
I'm celebrating the shit out of St. Patrick's Day next year. You can kiss my ass. We doing a bar crawl.
nigga, you ain't black Irish.
I am Nigerian Irish. Did I just use
Brother Doopsie?
Did I just put on my Nigerian accent? I felt like that was racist and didn't know it.
Nah.
No, once I got we going completely left. But once I got my DNA results back, I inboxed one of our Nigerian frat brothers, and I said, "Hey, we cousins." He said, "Nah, you ain't shit. Get away from me. Don't talk to me no more. We not friends no more." But no, he's gonna help. He's gonna help me when I go to Nigeria. He's gonna help me navigate that whole visiting Nigeria by myself type thing and figuring it out. Unless you want to go. If you want to go, we can go to Nigeria.
Hey man, I gotta get some stamps in this passport.
I know, man, before mine expire because I can't find my birth certificate and I don't know how I'm gonna re-up. But anyway, that's another story. But he also complained about children of color trick or treating in his neighborhood, and said. So many people of color are coming to where I am and taking candy in a white neighborhood. It's symbolic for our civilization.
Nigga, move. Why don't you move?
Yeah, why don't you move, sir?
If your neighborhood is not white enough, move.
And let's go back to what we missed out last week.
Exactly, and that's exactly why I brought this up.
This.
Get it right. Get it.
Colonizer. This colonizer named Sean Grubbs Robichaud said he cuts through Howard's campus with his dog and lets his dog shit all on the yard, and the students were complaining about it. She said there was a student that said that they feel like it's disrespectful to have the pets just running around, especially when there are several parks around. If they come on the yard and they're just walking through, she didn't have a problem with it. But, she feels like there's still different ways to get around D.C. without having to cut through the college campus. Mr. Robichaud, with his punk ass, said so they're in part of D.C., so they have to work within D.C. If they don't want to be within D.C., then they can move the campus. I think we just need to work together, and I don't think it should be here or there. It's our community, and that's how it should be. First of all, sir, it's not your community.
No, it is not your community.
It's not your goddamn community. Howard University has been there 152 goddamn years. You have been there, what, maybe 6, 7 at the most?
Probably not even.
Not even that.
Not even. I drove past Howard last weekend. It's first of all, it's a beauty and a shame what's happened at Howard. It's Howard remains his icon in the city of D.C., Chocolate City. Let's not forget that fact. But the area around Howard is now they have, chai latte spots and yoga studios. If y'all don't take y'all's natural asses somewhere else,
right?
Why? Here's my issue. First of all, you have to see Mr. Robichaud.
Robichaud.
Okay. Y'all should see him. He looks like your standard
colonizer.
I saw him in I saw him in an interview wearing his little tank top, American flag tank top with his beard that looks like it stinks.
Didn't it look like it stank?
Y'all some nasty motherfuckers.
That beer, but anyway, it smelled like stale beer and old steak.
And
when I say old
booty.
steak, I mean like the food got caught in his beard and he just never bothered to wash it.
That's just wrong.
It was just musty. I bet he musty. He probably smelled like onions and bad decisions. Just musty for no reason.
How you come up with onions and bad?
I'm serious.
That beard looks like it smells like pain and strife.
He smell like roadkill and mosquito hips. Like how you smell like that? Just out here smelling like a whole Taco Bell at one time. Just nigga, I smell chimichanga. What is wrong with you?
Oh Lord.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but no.
But anyway, I guess my point is that first of all, Howard University is a private institution.
Facts. So
you, sir, shouldn't even be walking on their campus. The thing that you also have to realize is that Howard, unlike a lot of white institutions that are in predominantly black areas, I'm looking at you, Duke University, doesn't have gates up around it. And they don't have security guards roaming the yard 24/7 looking for people that don't look like they belong. So, with all that said, I'm sure Mr. Robichaud, would love to take his dog on campus, but I would encourage some of the young brothers and sisters up there to go to the corner of Florida and you'll find the Black Israelites posted up. Go get them the next time you see Mr. Robichaud and kindly alert them to his presence. And let's just see how this happens. Let's just make it a social experiment. Let's see what happens when you take stank-ass hipster beard that smells like hops and stale booty, and mix that with some brothers and sisters that really don't kind of play around with his type.
Let me tell you what I would do if I was Howard. If I was Howard, I would call our most famous non-alumni, Sean Puffy, a.k.a. Diddy Combs. And I would say, Diddy, we need a favor. We don't want to buy Mr. Robichaux's house. We don't want to do that at all. We don't want to buy that whole block. We don't want to do that. It's pointless. What we want to do, Mr. Combs, we want to have a humongous outdoor party. And we want it to go 24 hours. And we want the speakers to point directly at Mr. Robichaux's house. We want lights and sound. And we want the lights to be so bright that they shine through every window in Mr. Robichaux's house.
We want acrobat artists. We want funnel cakes.
And we want DMX and the Rough Riders to return so that they can have four-wheelers, dirt bikes, and motorcycles up and down that street.
And I want Rare Essence to get back together.
I'm trying to tell you. Bro, don't give me the plan in the concert at Howard now. I'll turn it into reverse gentrification fest in this bitch, like for real.
But can you imagine just the beauty of that site?
I've got an infatuation with Howard University. Well, I'm not gonna say infatuation. I've got a deep love for Howard University, just like I have a deep love for Morehouse College.
That's where we park.
The goal of I'm serious. One of my life's goals is to earn an honorary degree from either one of those. So to all of my friends who went to Morehouse or Howard, I don't even need an honorary doctorate. I can get an honorary bachelor's. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if I get an honorary bachelor's from Morehouse, oh, y'all didn't tell me shit. I'm coming to homecoming every year. They like, when'd you graduate? The year I got my honorary bachelor's, fuck you. And I'm wearing a Morehouse hoodie everywhere. I'm talking about it's gonna be 97 degrees outside. I'm wearing a Morehouse hoodie. I'm gonna get a tag that says Morehouse Man. I'm gonna get a hat that says Morehouse Man. I'm gonna put my Morehouse honorary degree on my wall in my office, and I'm gonna take my degree from my university and I'm gonna hang it on the wall in my house. Like everybody's gonna know I went to Morehouse because that was my dream when I was a kid and we just couldn't afford it.
I understand. This is where we part company.
Now, Howard. So you still have a chance to have me as a student, in case you didn't know. Whether your MBA program wants to give me a call before August, even though I haven't applied, or whether you want to allow me to come into your divinity school, because I'd love a divinity degree from Howard, we can work this out.
Bro, you trying to start a church? We need to start a church.
Possibly.
Yo, it's Big Idea Sundays. Let's start a church.
Let's move on. Especially after last week. We're not going there.
Let's get this elevation money.
You almost lost us all of our viewers last year.
I'm trying to get these John Gray kicks. Come on, son.
Yo, did you see the article about Pastor Sneakers?
Yes.
There's an Instagram account.
I'm all over it.
Yeah, I'm not on Instagram anymore.
Oh, I'm all over it.
I'm only on Twitter right now.
I am all over it.
Speaking of religion, right now, I want to say a small prayer. I want to encourage you guys to say a small prayer to whoever you believe in. A synagogue got shot up in California by a white nationalist, of course. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he left a manifesto. And CNN is profiling. It did a profile of this lady, Lori Kay. There was one person that was killed. That was Lori Kay. She was 60 years old, and there were 3 others that were injured. Lori Kay jumped between the shooter and the rabbi at the synagogue and was killed.
Wow.
Like, Lori Kay was brave as hell.
Wow.
God rest her soul. The rabbi had been shot in the hand already. Kay stepped between him and the gunman, and then the rabbi started fighting. She was at the synagogue to say a prayer for her mother. She had been in that synagogue for quite a while. I think her mother was being rushed and was in surgery or something like that. I'm not sure. But she's from San Diego. She leaves behind her husband and a 22-year-old daughter. There was an 8-year-old little girl that was injured, a 34-year-old man, and the rabbi who was shot is 57. So the shooter, if I'm not mistaken, the shooter did leave behind some sort of manifesto. He was definitely a Trump supporter.
What else is new?
He was a white nationalist. I'm really just sick of it all. Really sick of it all.
I mean, this is just same song, same verse. You know, we just continue to have these incidences, and I'm tired. Like, and it's to the point now where I have to check myself because I've almost become desensitized to it. It's like, oh, okay, another shooting at by a white nationalist, but you know we want to sit here and talk about black on black crime. Okay,
can we talk about white nationalists on America crime?
Can we talk about the fact that y'all have perpetrated more murders in the U.S. in the past few years than any black on black crime? Like we refuse to acknowledge that this country has
a white nationalist terrorism problem.
That these terrorists are but we can't call them terrorists.
Hey man, I'm gonna say it. I know that the media doesn't want me to say it. I know that nobody wants to hear this, but I'm gonna say these 3 words that apparently everybody is too afraid to say.
Oh Lord Jesus.
Radical conservative terrorism.
Lord Jesus, man,
that's what it is.
They might shut off the mics. I don't know.
Radical conservative terrorism.
But we won't say it, you know. But yet and still, you know, anytime any Muslim so much as says anything, you know, they have to come out and condemn. You know,
look at the violence that they they incite upon Representative Omar,
right?
And the stuff that they say about her.
And all she's doing is speaking her truth. And I don't understand why like her comments are taken as anti-Semitic or whatever.
I don't even want to jump on that bandwagon.
We don't have to go into it, but my whole point is that, you know, she's just talking. These people are actually taking guns and killing people. And, you know, again, I feel terrible. Shout out to you know, our Jewish brothers and sisters out there. Look, I mean, the sooner that we realize that we're all in the same fight against a common enemy, the better off we'll all be. Let's stop trying to parse and like, well, you know, we need to come together as decent human beings and exterminate these terrible individuals. I don't even want to call them individuals. These animals. These you know, I'm going to characterize them exactly like how they characterize us. These animals who continue to go out and perpetrate this mess.
It's sick. Like and the thing is, I don't really want to go down that rabbit hole. I'm really tired of every time a school shooting happens, it's a lone wolf person. We're tired of the mental illness excuse. We're tired of seeing people publicly be racist, be white nationalists, white supremacists, all that, and then turn around and we say, oh, well, they're just sick or they were always different. I'm like, man, okay, it's a lot of people that's sick in the hood that commit crimes and do 50 years for it where they get worse and don't get better. But you don't see them running up in daycares killing people all the time.
Right.
Or you don't see them shooting up schools. It's some black children out there that go through things all the time. Like there are black children who have had to grow up very, very fast. I know more than a couple, and you don't, and they get picked on because they don't have clean clothes. Like that's why some of these schools are putting in laundry facilities for these kids that don't have clean clothes.
Right.
Or they're putting in food banks for kids that don't have food to eat. And yeah, some of these kids get picked on. Some of these kids don't feel loved because they don't get love at home. Some of these kids don't, have nice things or have nice homes or even have heat. Some of them don't even have homes. But the thing is, I'm gonna tell you, and I told a friend this, who will probably be listening. I told her that, a gun is a lot easier to get than a diploma.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is about it is that when you get that gun, with that gun, you can get other things.
Right.
But the thing is, when these children get these guns, you don't see them running up in the school and killing everybody that joked on them and killing teachers and all that. You don't see them going to a concert and just indiscriminately shooting at people because they feel upset.
Right.
These kids feel disrespected by life.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you, if you get to the root of, I want to say, let's not get into that because I'm going to take it back to a whole nother argument and we're going to go down a rabbit hole. Let's move on. Rest in peace to the young lady that passed at the synagogue, and I hope that 8-year-old baby. What the hell going on? That 8-year-old baby that got shot and that is in the hospital and she was wounded. I pray that she finds peace and healing. Same thing with the guy that was killed and the rabbi. So we ain't got enough time for me to get down that rabbit hole, bro.
Right, I hear you.
Joe Biden running for president.
Hey, man,
I'm not energized.
You gonna come out of a dead dog dedication to?
I'm not energized. Like honestly, this is what I see happening. And I know you told me to give Nancy a chance and all that. And I've been really quiet about, the Democratic Party and some of my disgruntledness with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Elizabeth Warren is the most reasonable candidate at this point. And I think that the Democratic Party is positioning itself to do a couple things. To dismiss Elizabeth Warren, to screw Bernie again with whatever support he gets, and to just preemptively make Joe Biden the front runner. I think that's what's happening. And here's the thing, I just see it coming. Nonetheless, whoever the Democratic candidate is, that's the best chance for us to get Trump out of office. So I'll be voting for them. I don't necessarily have to be happy about what I see coming.
All right. So here's my take on this.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, Joe, welcome to the race. Glad to have you.
I think Pete B. I can't never.
Mayor Pete.
I think Pete B is the man.
I don't understand why people have such a hard time saying the man's name. It's Buttigieg. Buttigieg. I don't understand that. But anyway, neither here nor there.
I can't say that.
I see what you're saying about Elizabeth Warren. So
actually, they call him Booty Meat.
Stop.
I'm trash.
Stop. That's terrible.
I'm trash for that.
We got to be better.
No,
we got to
no.
be better.
Speak for yourself. No.
So I see what you're saying, about Elizabeth Warren, about Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth Warren, I will agree with you, has the best. She's really the only candidate that's really put forth any sort of substantive policy platform.
Yeah.
Right? And I get it. She that's who she is. She's a policy wonk. She's a policy nerd. Like she wants to come up with, all the great ideas and policy to make your life better. Okay. Gotcha. Bernie, he's still got his Bernie bros and the.
And don't get me wrong, I don't dislike Bernie.
I was gonna say that I don't dislike anybody in the field, but that's not true. There are some people that I do dislike, Tulsi Gabbard. But Bernie, he's gonna do his thing. Joe coming in, I think we were all kind of waiting for it. He took his time, and finally now he's in. Okay, great. I will tell you that. Where everyone is falling short is that everybody's trying to focus on policy, and I don't think that this election is going to come down to policy.
It's not.
It's and that's where Elizabeth Warren is going to fall short. That's where
I'm a single issue voter. I'm voting for Elizabeth Warren just because she want to cancel student loans.
All right, so be
voter.
it that I just paid off one of mine. Fuck all y'all. Like
You petty.
Yeah, I'm
Ain't
petty.
nobody tell you to do that.
Look. Anyway, this election is going to be a referendum on Trump. And you have to have somebody who can stand up on a stage with him and go toe to toe. And to be honest, perfectly honest with you, there is not one candidate in the field that has demonstrated the ability to do that, except for Joe Biden.
I think that Joe Biden could stand up toe to toe with him in a debate and give us just enough of that shit talk and that, intelligence that we would need. I don't think that any woman would play well with. Let me see. What are all the code words we use? The middle America voters, the working class voters,
the whites,
the
poor,
the kitchen
whites.
table, the kitchen table topics that come up, which is really just code word for those white voters that could swing away from the Republican Party. But yeah, I don't think that any woman could do that because I do think that they're invested heavily in just male leadership and male presence. That's how regressive America is at times.
Mm-hmm.
I think that any woman that stood up there in a debate with him, and this is not saying that it's something I agree with, this must just be speaking the reality of what it is. Any woman that stands up there in a debate with him is going to get degraded and disrespected and be seen as out of her place. And I feel like when we saw that 43% vote for Trump, that said more than enough to me that people value that certain demographics of people value the maintenance of a certain structure than they do their own rights and their own livelihoods.
Right. So to that point, let's play this out. So let's say Elizabeth Warren gets a nomination.
Mm-hmm.
She's now got to go head to head with individual one, unindicted co-conspirator in several federal crimes, but neither here nor there. They actually have to stand on the stage and debate each other. Mm-hmm. Elizabeth Warren's going to come out with all her policy.
Cancel. 43. It's 53%.
53%. Okay. She's going to come out with all her policy points. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to, cancel the student loan debt, which is never going to happen. But, we're going to do all these things. Then you have individual one who's going to come to the stage, dick joke. It doesn't play well for Warren. It's going to be some kind of, so you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, right? So if you take him on and go back at him, then you're seen as, oh, she's too harsh. Oh, she's just the I can see the clutch pearls right now of, oh my gosh, she's such a potty mouth, and oh my gosh,
imagine Kamala Harris.
Exactly.
Ooh. Ooh.
And then, but
they put Kamala Harris up there. If she even showed a bit of emotion, angry black woman.
Mm-hmm. The first time she rolls her eyes or sucks her teeth,
I think Kamala Harris deserves to give us all of the black girl magic and actually she should be allowed in the debate to say, "Nigga, please." At the very least,
I would pay money to see that.
At the very least, a bitch please has to come.
I would
Bitch,
pay
please.
money to see that.
I would love to see Kamala Harris just look and say, "Bitch, please." Like, just look. I get it, and people hate Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
People hate her.
people hate black women.
Very true.
So I mean, what are we really talking about? But here's the thing: even if like you have the female candidate is up on the stage, and she doesn't go back at, well, then she's soft.
She's weak.
She's weak. She can't. She's not going to stand up. She's going to roll over. So you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. So the one thing that I don't respond well to is the fact that people are trying to play this identity politics game of, well, we think that, and I'm not trying to use coded language to say that, I support one candidate or another, or, I don't think that, Elizabeth Warren would be great. I think she'd be a great president. Give me the smartest person in the room.
She does give me Angela Merkel vibes.
Yeah, give me the smartest person in the room in the position, and I'll take it, 99 times out of 100. We're in that 1%. I am exercising my privilege this year to be a single issue voter as well. And my single issue is I'm voting for the person who is willing to do whatever it takes to punish the Republicans and conservatives. I'm not just talking about, undoing the mess that individual one has done. I'm talking about active punishment. I'm talking about some petty shit. I'm talking about Supreme Court is not going to be an issue. We're going to take it up to 15 and we're going to stack them with Democratic judges. You can't block them. I'm eliminating the filibuster.
You want somebody to be petty.
I want somebody.
Damn
it, yes.
You want liberal Mitch McConnell.
Exactly. That's it. And that's why we lose elections, because we don't have a liberal Mitch McConnell. We got these soft ass, puss ass, just want to roll over and
hold up, B. You can't turn into me, dog. You can't turn into me, dog. Where you come from? Wait. You gave us the perfect puss ass. Like, bro, you sound like you was from straight Georgia just then, bro. I know you ain't from the South.
I was channeling something there. There's some energy in the room. Like, you got me excited about this.
Sorry,
damn. But this is
you turn the trick dad out of
dude. This is blood sport. Like,
we got to get you some gold grills, bro.
Shit.
Tops and bottoms.
Look, man, I want. Give me a
the gold tea specialist down the street.
Look, I need an Impala on 24s.
Hey, don't tell me that, because I really want an Impala on 24s. Like bullshit. I really want 24s in the back, 22s in the front, bro.
Hey,
had that thing sitting bow-legged like a bulldog, bro. I'm trying to tell you, boy. Man, y'all better quit playing with me, man. Y'all take me back to my younger days, man. Quit playing with me, man. Look, I be trying to talk all articulate and stuff, man. Don't take me back, B. Don't take me back. All right. But no, I get what you're saying, man. I've always said that the Republicans may not know how to talk to people, but they know how to wield power.
Right.
And while they wield power for their own best interest and have somehow convinced poor people that they are not poor but temporarily disgraced millionaires, the Democrats are bringing, I used to say this all the time, Democrats are bringing flowers to a gunfight.
Right.
And I also used to quote the movie Under Siege all the time, when there was a fictitious senator in that said, you don't fight a junkyard dog using ASPCA rules. What you do is take the leash off your bigger, meaner dog.
Right.
I think that if you hold them accountable, spank them and let them know how ugly it can get, they'll be more inclined to play within certain boundaries. Because that's what they do to other countries whenever they're in power.
Right.
Now, with that being said, truth be told, like, I'm saying all this, but I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I used to be a registered libertarian. I used to donate to the Libertarian Party.
So you was a Republican who liked to smoke weed.
That's what I said. I said libertarian. Then I found out libertarians were just Republicans that smoke weed. And I was like, oh, this is some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm independent. I do believe I think that at this point, our system of government needs a shift. I think it needs to maintain the democratic republic structure that we have, but we also need to make room for other voices, much like the parliamentary system does, that guarantees certain major parties a certain percentage of seats. I do think that the Republican Party has become a terrorist organization in some factions, in some places.
What do you mean some?
Well, I do think that I think there are some Republicans who are the old school Republicans, the never Trump Republicans, and some of the ones that are more reasonable, who are fiscally conservative more than anything, as opposed to everything else. Like, I do think there are some of those out there, but they have been silenced and pushed into the corner and told to shut up and play ball because of Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment, which is thou shalt not speak ill of another Republican.
I get it, but that's part of the problem, and that's why they're just as trash as the ones that are.
I think that those guys. I know we've talked on this show about the Democrats being cowards because they've been afraid to go after certain people or stand up for themselves. I think that those Republicans who refuse to stand up for Trump are more cowards than anybody.
Right.
So that's another story. I don't really want to stay on politics too long.
Man,
but
I was just getting warmed up.
Yeah, man. But we ain't got much more time.
Right.
I will say that Joe Biden is now in the race. As the election gets closer, we'll probably be delving way, way more into politics. And I actually want to start making that a regular thing, man. Just kind of dip our toe into politics a little bit and figure some things. I mean, we already do it now, but with the election coming up, like literally in a year and some change, like let's start ramping up now.
All right,
talk about it.
I'm good.
I'm so glad that. Oh wait, before I get to that story, ladies, Idris Elba is now married. He has married Sabrina Dowry, a lovely, lovely, lovely model. They got married in Marrakesh, Morocco. So yeah, congratulations to the Black James Bond, even though they never casted him as James Bond because they were too weak to do it.
First, I'm gonna say congratulations to you.
Why is that?
All the single niggas out there, because now y'all there's some space made for y'all.
Man, look. Man, look. I don't. This. I don't even want to talk about my singleness, man. Like being single.
We've already established.
Yeah,
this.
man.
We're gonna move on.
Being single is cool. What's the song? That big one of Big Crit lyrics says, "Being single is cool till ain't nobody around." You know, I mean, but the beauty of it is that I've taken, you know, my newfound free time really, and tried to dive into entrepreneurial and educational endeavors.
Okay.
So it's really been more of a growth period, a learning period for me, you know, and it's one of those things where I do enjoy my solitude, you know, but sometimes I have like I've had things go on and I don't have anybody to call.
Right.
You know,
call me, man.
Nigga, I ain't calling you with certain stuff, dog. Come on, man.
Okay. Look, I'm just trying to be there for a brother.
It's certain things,
I'm
man.
just trying to.
It's certain things,
All
bro.
right.
Like, come on, man. We still got it's bro code too.
I got you.
It's man law, bro.
But shout out to DJ Big Driss.
I forgot he was a DJ.
Yeah. Dude is pretty nice too.
I can imagine Idris Elba as immaculate taste in music, cigars, suits, whiskey, and cologne.
Yeah,
like
just you know,
he's the everyman. Like I just feel like it.
He's like Tim Meadows in.
I feel like Idris Elba is the ultimate role model. Like for real.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but shout out to him.
And to ladies, we sorry. We sorry. But you know,
I'm sorry.
Right.
As a newly minted member of the Beehive, I ain't sorry. I'm just gonna. I ain't sorry. So glad that one half of the legendary UGK, Bun B, the OG triple OG, the OG triple trill OG, is safe, and so this is how you know it's real with Bun B. Like, okay, so first of all, Bun B is an academic and an intellectual. He teaches at Rice University. One half of the most legendary, one of the most, if not the most legendary Southern hip hop group in the world. Because if it hadn't been for UGK, you would have no Outkast.
Right.
Rest in peace, Pimp C, by the way. Chad Butler. Rest in peace to Chad Butler. So this man tried to do a home invasion at Bun B's home in Texas. And his wife, Queenie, saw him, thought that they were coming for her husband. She gave the home invader money and gave him keys to the car that was in the driveway. Said, just take the car. Please don't go upstairs. Please don't touch my husband. And dude was like, nah, I want to go upstairs. Man, dude went upstairs. Bun B hit him with that thigh. Bow! Bitch, you won't do that shit no more. That's a self-correcting error. So the dude runs out the house, runs down the street. Bun B actually chases the young man and unmasks him. The kid got away or whatever. He was arrested at a nearby hospital trying to get treatment for his gunshot wounds. He's facing 3 first-degree felonies, 2 counts of aggravated robbery with a weapon, and 1 count of burglary. His name is DeMonte Jackson. He allegedly did not know it was Bun's house. He said he was going house to house in the neighborhood, and Bun's wife just happened to answer the door. Queenie offered him an Audi that was in the garage, and Bun confronted him. The boy escaped and left his gun behind. Bun hopped in the car and went after him, held the dude at gunpoint, and made him take off his mask. And then the boy escaped again. So, shout out to the Trill OG, man. Like, Bun B, Trillist, man.
You want to talk about gangster.
And the thing is, that ain't gangster. That's manhood to me. Like, you defending your wife in your home. But let's talk about how Trill Queenie is, though.
True.
Because Queenie was like, look, please just don't touch my husband. Here's my Audi, little money,
right.
Take the car. I don't care. Take the car. Just, like, she was down for her crown. She was down for her husband. And her husband, being the grown ass man he is, said, "Oh no,
got that thing on me,
Mr. Think I ain't got it on me." I'm trying to tell you, the baby thought he came up with that. Now Bun B came up with that. Shout out to the baby too, man. Shout out to the Charlotte native, the baby, man. He putting out. I'm pretty sure this kid is gonna be making hits for a long time. Like, I love that guy. But no, shout out to Bun B, man. Bun B said, you think you're just gonna come to my house and take anything?" Okay. And when you look at the young bull in the mug shot, like you could tell like he was an amateur. Like he looked like he didn't know what he was up to. He got a big cut or bruise or something on his nose. Like Bun B had to sock him a couple times, bro.
Yeah.
And Bun B ain't no small dude, bro.
No, I'm wondering how he got away again.
Bun probably let him go because I can believe that Bun don't want to kill another black man.
Okay,
listen to his interviews. I can believe he doesn't want to kill another black man, especially when you got him on the ground, you've unmasked him, you know who he is, and you got a gun on him, you hold him at gunpoint. I can believe that Mr. Bernard Freeman does not want to kill another black man, even in that situation.
I get it, but when you come in my house,
I'm trying to tell you,
all bets are off.
You come in my house, Bun is much nicer than me,
right?
Because I would have emptied the whole magazine in the boy.
Yeah, it
wouldn't have been no mugshot. It would have been a funeral program.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
But the thing is, slow singing and flower bringing.
And it's not because I'm a gangster or because I believe in murder, which I don't think that's murder. I think that's self-defense. I think it's more so because I don't know what you're here for.
Right.
And you have come into my house unannounced and you clearly have ill intent. I'm going to neutralize this threat before it does something that I can't control.
Right.
And that's really what I believe at that point. That's one of the reasons I believe in the Second Amendment. But we're not going to get into the Second Amendment because
we ain't got time.
Yeah, last time we got into a Second Amendment discussion on this podcast, I got cussed out and had hands laid on me in the parking lot.
Oh Lord!
So
Jesus.
Anyway,
was that? Oh no! That was
Yeah, that's a whole other story. Anyway,
the lost tapes,
which I still have in case I need evidence. So that's neither here nor there. I'm petty. I'm sorry. That was petty. Last, we didn't get to the hashtag again this time. We're gonna have to do like a special episode for that. Let's do a special episode for that. Last but not least, Jay-Z did a B-side show to reopen the legendary Webster Hall in New York, and he brought Cameron and Jim Jones on stage. They did "Welcome to New York City," and he let Cam and Jim do Dipset anthem. And when I saw the videos, I lost it. I wish I could have been there like that. My dream before I leave this earth is to go to another Jay-Z concert, but I want to go to a small room concert. Like, I hope he does one. I don't want to go to another arena concert for him. I want to go to a small room concert. So shout out to him, but he also brought Nas on stage to do Dead Presidents.
Wow.
I'm out for presidents to represent me. Get money.
Just think about the evolution of hip hop. Just in that.
And they all had tuxedos on. I thought that was so fly.
That is.
That was black royalty.
But more so than anything else, shout out to Jay for dropping some gems around Nipsey and what he was doing and what he was doing in the community.
Buy back the block, man.
Just genius. Yeah, I
I think
mean,
a lot of what people were trying to do was take hot takes on that. I'm sorry to cut you off.
no, you
too.
good, you good.
They were trying to make hot takes on that and say that when he said you got to gentrify your own hood, like no. I think you were looking for a reason to criticize that particular phrase,
Right.
as it relates to what he was saying. Think about it, man. There's a lot of stuff in hip hop where people say the wrong thing, but you know exactly what they mean. Jay said that for a reason because the word gentrification to get your attention.
Right.
So, but I'm gonna leave that alone though.
But even the concept is just groundbreaking. Just go back, like, get a collective and buy your own.
I was just actually one of my friends. She was asking me. I told her what our topics were, and she mentioned it to me. She'll be listening to this, and she texted me, and I said, we talking about, I think people were just looking to criticize him out of context or whatnot. But I said, one issue that I have. She said that gentrification is gentrification no matter who's doing it. So whether it's Jay-Z buying the block or Donald Trump, if you're displacing poor people, kind of purposely to make a profit, you're gentrifying. I said, that's fair. I said, but I think another point that we have to consider when that's being talked about is that our own people are afraid to live around our own people. When you make a little bit of money and you get some decent credit or whatnot, the first thing we do is go to these white enclaves and white suburbs. We don't ever look at, some of the more modest homes in our own areas. And so, they can't gentrify it if they can't buy it from you.
It's very true.
And then when our grandparents die, the first thing we do, we sell it off. That we don't want to have to come down here and take the maintenance and all that and yada, yada, yada. For some people, it's understandable. For some of y'all that live in the same city and ain't never moved out, stop selling your grandparents' houses, man. That quick money that you going to blow in 6 months buying dumb shit, that ain't worth the legacy that your grandparents built within that house and the generations of love that have been felt in that house, man. So I get what the OG was saying, man, and I'm just trying to I'm trying to get my stuff together so over the next year or so, man, years some change, I can buy me a house. I want to buy it in a black neighborhood. I want to, I think because and it took my friend back home to tell me that she thinks it's important for that little black boy down the street to see, Ms. Wilson get up every morning and go to her good job as a professional, as a black working professional every day, and the kind of impact she could have on that neighborhood and those kids, seeing that every day, letting them know that they can do something too, more than just, this or that, or working an odd job here and an odd job there. And I think more of us need to have that idea. But that goes back to what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So
it comes full circle.
Shout out to Nipsey. Shout out to Jay. That's all the topics we got for today, man. What you want to tell the people before we get out of here?
Protect your tribe. Don't hurt nobody this week. I'm gonna try not to, but Jesus knows my heart. I don't know, man. I just, I really have kind of reached a point where I'm trying to figure out how to have more of an impact in the community, and I'm kind of feeling my sleepiness right now. So, just trying to figure that out. So, y'all just pray for me.
And this is my final closeout words. In the words of one of our old friends of the show, protect your peace. Number one. Number two, what I want to tell you is don't be afraid of your own people. I know we always talk about this area got bad crime, but you got no problem going over to get some chicken wings. Do it. Talk to the people in the community, man. Spend time with people in the community. You might learn something, man. Another thing is, man, and this is most important, pay attention to the energy that people bring into your life. Like, here's the thing, like, you can't cheat life, you can't cheat energy, you can't cheat people's true intentions for you as long as you're listening. So if somebody comes into your life and they make you smile, they make you happy, they may make you joyful, but if somewhere in your gut, like you're feeling something wrong, don't ignore it, because some of the people that you love the most are the people that hurt you the worst. And sometimes you just got to understand that, and that's what they are. It's nothing wrong with you, but pay attention to their energy, pay attention to who they are and what they bring to you, and don't fool yourself into believing people are anything other than who they are, because they're like that for a reason. And guess what? No matter how much love you give them, you can't change them. Point blank. Period. That's just a piece of advice I want to give from myself to the audience. That being said,
For free 99.
for free 99. Oh, also, black people, if you're over the age of 13, take your black ass to therapy. All of us need it. Every single black person in this country needs therapy.
Big facts.
So, coming up, just quick announcement. Coming up, hopefully, not next week's episode, but the episode after that, will be a special episode that I'm going to be recording with 2 guest hosts in Houston. One is going to be Jules, the host of Pretty Petty Politics, which is another podcast. And then the other one is a special guest video director, movie director, show director, just videographer supreme. We're gonna let her talk about her show that she has coming up, as well as some other projects that she has coming up as well. So
What kind of videos?
those that are of a artistic value and not the nasty kind.
Wait a minute. First of all, don't yuck my yum. I feel it.
I feel like you immediately
I feel
went-
some judgment.
I feel like you immediately went to Pornhub, sir.
I was just simply asking what kind of videos does she direct, but your dirty mind was the one that went in the gutter.
Listen to how you said it.
Look, I'm just saying.
You know what? We're not gonna do this with you. Not gonna do this with you. Anyway, man, like you said, protect your tribe. Like I'm saying, protect your peace, and pay attention to people's energy and pay attention to the value that they bring to your life. That being said, we'll catch y'all next week. Don't hurt nobody, like what boy said. All right,
Peace.
Bye bye.